watching GTV. And now it's time for this afternoon's edition of Children's GBC with George Buxton, as he was so glad to be at George Bryn's house as well as George Bryn has earlier on this morning. So here it is.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Children's GBC on a fine Tuesday afternoon. Well, so that you all know that I'm so glad to be back in this household of George Bryn's again. Yeah, because it has been a while since we've done some experimenting around the world. That includes being in a cartoon studio, carrying on in a bedroom as usual, and also for the 10 o'clock slots of play days. So obviously I haven't been in this house for quite a long while. Well, since Playdays was popular now. So anyways, speaking of Playdays, we will have that episode of a playground stop later on this afternoon. But right now on Children's GBC, and for the first time ever, here we have a series premiere of King Rollo. And today, he's going to be making the bread. Mind you, making some bread is not a very easy job because all it takes up a lot of time to make some yeast to make sure the bread does not grow too much. So that's King Rollo. So the next program now on Children's GBC, and as I said earlier on, it's time for Playdays, and today they are at the playground stop as they are going to be taking a look at some animals. It could be in a zoo, and also anywhere else really. So here's Playdays.
The play bus! But where does it go? Where does it stop? Watch for the sign of the lollipop. Stop! The playground stop.
Girls and boys come out to play. Let's have fun with animals today.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Brilliant, well done. Hello, we're practicing our counting to go. But we'll be back at the playground next week. See you then. Bye.
Bye.
And don't forget that there'll be more fun with the Playdays going, and that's only happening tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock here on Children's GBC.
And that was Playdays. Yeah, mind you, the zoo animals and some farm animals are very interesting. And of course they still feature Chester as well as Peggy Badger Wybird, and there's even Lizzie the marionette puppet, which you may have seen before. Well, there you go, that's Playdays for you. So the next programme on Children's GBC now it's time for today's episode of Wizardora, in which she encounters some sneeze berries. Oh, and we're so glad to have Wizardora back on the programme, by the way, because that's the first time Children's GBC has aired Wizardora for a long time, since the Children's GTV days. So here's today's episode of Wizardora.
Wizardora, Wizardora, you with friends in a very special way. Wizardora, nothing surer, you're the one that can brighten up our day. Nothing surer, you're the one that can brighten up our day. Living with your most peculiar friends in a kitchen full of fun, hoping each day never ends. We adore her, we adore her.
was Wizardora. Yeah, mind you, that was a lot of bit of sneezing business going on. But anyways, that's enough of the sneezeberries now. And let's move on to France now. And here's today's episode of Albert, the Fifth Musketeer. Yeah, so that's what... and today's episode is Coco Mission. Yeah, because obviously, now that's another programme that we haven't had on Children's GBC before since the GTV days. That's as well as Wizardora. So here's Albert, the Fifth Musketeer.
With clever inventions, you know his intentions to help whenever he can. If you want something sorted like enemy spotted, then Albert is your man. His name is Albert. Albert. He's Albert the Fifth Musketeer. He's there at the double whenever there's trouble with wood and string and stuff. The things that he makes have just what it takes whenever the going gets rough. His name is Albert. Albert. He's Albert the Fifth Musketeer. He's sharp, he's cool, he's nobody's fool. He's Albert the Fifth Musketeer. If you've been dropped in it, he's there in a minute. That's faithful Albert's way. He's Albert the Fifth Musketeer. He's there at the double whenever there's trouble with wood and string and stuff. The things that he makes have just what it takes whenever the going gets rough. His name is Albert. Albert. He's Albert the Fifth Musketeer. He's sharp, he's cool, he's nobody's fool. He's Albert the Fifth Musketeer.
And that was Albert, the Fifth Musketeer. Yeah, because I think it was the king that actually wants hot chocolate for some time. But anyways, I think let's move away from France and moving on to the British side of the woods. So because here we go. So here's another series premiere for you now, and it's Okie Doke and the Lonely Mouse.
If you have a problem and you need a helping hand, cross the dell and ring the bell, he'll understand. Don't worry, 'cause here comes Okie Doke. The friendliest of folk is Mr. Okie Doke. Okie Doke, a helpful handy man. Get ready for good old Mr. Okie Doke. He's the one who gets things done throughout the land. Don't worry, 'cause here comes Okie Doke. Get ready for good old Mr. Okie Doke.
And that was Okie Doke. Well, mind you, I'm so glad that young Shrew has or shall I just say, a mouse with no tail, because otherwise he would have been called Peter No Tail. Well, basically, I think he's called Hickory for some reason. So let's just say that Hickory, the tailless mouse, has now got a new home now, because as Okie Doke said, he hasn't got a home or his family. So he's now lived with the corn cracker or something like that. So anyway, that's enough of the Okie Doke, the nice bright side. And now moving on to a scary bit. Oh, don't worry. The next programme is not as scary as you think, because it's a cartoon of Funny Bones. And today, guess where they be going? You guessed it. The pet shop. But it's only because that dog just keeps barking. Because I'm sure that George might have been gone barking mad. Anyway, here's Funny Bones, everybody.
This is how the story begins. In a dark, dark town, there was a dark, dark street. In the dark, dark street, there was a dark, dark house. In the dark, dark house, there were dark, dark stairs. Down the dark, dark stairs, there was a dark, dark cellar. And in the dark, dark cellar, some skeletons lived. There was a big skeleton, a little skeleton, and a dog skeleton. Woof! In a dark, dark street.
Bones. Well, I'm very happy to say that they've changed their mind about them getting the dog back. Because obviously, the author's pets, they keep swapping. Some too, because one rhino is too big. One is a parrot who talks so loud. And he also said big bottom. Anyways, that's Funny Bones anyway. Now, the next programme now is moving on to Sooty's Amazing Adventures now. Alas, poor Sooty. Would he be returning in a cartoon series? Well, you'll find out. And I know that being a puppet may think it's a bit silly, but obviously it's not. But anyways, here's Sooty's Amazing Adventures.
So I said to Sark,
Body mention tea.
Sooty's Amazing Adventures. Yeah, because I didn't realise that they were producing a production called Romeo and Juliet. And as they say, Romeo, Romeo, where art thou, Romeo? Yeah, and I know that Romeo would have said, here, my love. Yeah, but don't worry, it's just a way of what they said, because it's mostly famous for it, you know. So, yeah, that's Sooty's Amazing Adventures. But I'm glad that Sooty admits that he's not just a silly old puppet after all. So, anyways, the next programme now is going to be... what's the next programme?
Postman Pat.
Oh, yes, thank you. Now, anyways, the next programme now is going to be Postman Pat. And in today's episode, which sits on Series 2, in which Postman Pat helps Granny Dryden to paint a ceiling. Well, let's hope that Postman Pat doesn't have any paint on himself, because otherwise he would have ruined his trousers for sure. And I hope that no paint should get near me. Oh no. Here's Postman Pat.
Postman Pat, Postman Pat, Postman Pat, and his black and white cat. Early in the morning, just as day is dawning, he picks up all the post bags in his van. Postman Pat, Postman Pat, Postman Pat, and his black and white cat.
Postman Pat. Well, I'm so glad that Postman Pat did manage to paint the ceiling to finish the job after all, but as well as deliver some letters, of course. But of course, one funny thing about it the most is when Postman Pat had to change his trousers for some shorts. Oh God, that's so funny. So yeah, that's Postman Pat. And now on to the next programme now. And before anyone else says anything, I have not got a hairy armpit. Because I know that No Hairbit keeps saying that all the time. But don't worry, he's not here this time. Not so much anyway. Now, coming up next right now on Children's GBC, it's time for it's time for Harry Jeremy, in which he goes up to the big top flop. Oh, and so that you know that circus, however, does not exist in a cave world, because obviously Harry Jeremy was pretending to be a ringmaster, but is he impatient? Let's find out.
What do you say? He's not a superhero, nor a poet, or a king. He doesn't drive a car or do much of anything, but he's Harry.
Scary? No, Harry.
He has no superpowers, and I've never seen him fly. No secret hideaway, and no all-seeing eye. He's just Harry.
Harry.
He's most definitely Harry.
Harry.
His name is Jeremy, and he's Harry.
Harry.
Unquestionably.
Harry Jeremy has decided that he wants to be the ringmaster in his own circus. He's
That was George's Harry Armpits. Well, let's hope it doesn't happen again on a Friday afternoon. Oh, sorry, Friday morning, I mean. So, anyways, as I was saying, now, that was George's... And that was Harry Jeremy. Yeah, I'm really sorry about this, everybody. It's just sometimes that when no hairbed was around, thinking that I got hairy armpits when I do not. So anyways, moving on from Harry Jeremy and moving on to something a bit more furry. And you know what I mean. It's obviously Badger from Bodger a Badger. And in today's episode, and seeing as that we're on series 2 now, and in today's episode, in which Simon had to deal with a wonky window. Well, let's hope that nobody gets wonky over it. Anyway, here's Bodger a Badger. Bodger and Badger. Well, mind you, I'm so glad that Simon had to deal with a wonky window. But, of course, despite the fact that when Badger just threw mashed potato accidentally at the headmistress. And it looks like Simon got a beating from the headmistress. Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, I guess that this is why this is a comedic programme. And speaking of which, here's the next programme, but this might be the last one now. And in today's episode of Chuckle Vision, it's called Put Up Job. And as George would say, to me, to you, to me, to you, to me, to you, to George the Hairy Armpit Buxton. Here's Chuckle Vision. Don't forget that there'll be more fun with the Chuckle Brothers, and that's only happening on Friday. But coming up next though, well, I don't think there's anything coming next though, but this is why I will conclude. Just carry on listening to the music, and please don't go away. that was Chuckle Vision. Well, mind you, now I'm so glad that the Chuckle Brothers. Well, I know that sometimes those two get things a bit wrong, but we all mean them well because they're the most funniest brothers that they've ever had. So yeah, that's Chuckle Vision for you. And that's pretty much about it for this afternoon on Children's GBC. And don't forget, now, at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, now, we will have some more Playdays programmes coming your way. And hopefully, we'll have different programmes this time. So, yeah, that will be Playdays in the morning, as well as the other programmes. So, make sure you don't miss it. So, until then, from me, George Buxton, signing off. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon. Yeah, goodbye from the Hairy Armpits Buxton. Oh, goodbye, everyone.
You're watching GTV. And now it's time for today's episode of George's Belly. Belly? Dare you? Do you realise I haven't got hairs on my belly? Sorry, but at least I didn't say hairy armpits this time. Ah, well, thank God for that. And now it's time for Harry Doggy. No hair? George? Get out of here. Ouch. Anyways, here's today's episode of Home and Away. Well, I'm going away now.